online audience world. Welcome back to day two of this workshop. Um, so today we'll begin the first session looking at some of the considerations relating to the assessment of IVPT data. So we put a lot of emphasis yesterday on the considerations for the actual conduct of IVPT studies, particularly focusing on method development and validation. Um, Today we're going to be looking at the assessment of the results from those studies. And particularly, you'll get some insight into how it is that FDA reviews applications that are submitted in context of what the guidance recommendations are. And then we'll have a coffee break. After the coffee break, for those of you on our online audience, you'll be able to get a little bit of a debriefing about what happened in person at the end of day one, because we had four groups who went through a virtual exercise, a simulated exercise that essentially put them through the experience of being in the driver's seat as they needed to develop an IVPT method and modify an IVPT method, really optimize an IVPT method, and kind of figuring out what knobs do you tune in terms of the parameters of your method that you can modulate during method development. So you'll be hearing from four volunteers from the groups that we had yesterday in person, and they'll be giving you a sense of the exercises that we went through so that you can vicariously experience what they did here in person. Now, one small modification to the agenda today is that while the summary of those flight simulator discussions, those simulated experiences in method development that I spoke of, on the calendar they go to on the agenda they go to 8:30. Sorry, 11:30. Um, what we're going to do is capture a little bit of time from lunch. We had an hour and a half budgeted for lunch today. We're going to use the first 30 minutes of that to try to finish up the video that we didn't get to yesterday on the inline or flow through diffusion cell, because by the time we got to the session with the videos, we were running about an hour and 20 minutes behind schedule. And so we had to make up for a lot of time. And so it really compressed what we had prepared to discuss and share with you during those videos. And we didn't get to the last one. So we're going to utilize today. So right after those debriefings from the flight simulator, what I would invite the panel, the video panel from yesterday, to come back up immediately after that. And from 11:30 to 12, we'll go through that last video, which is a fairly short sequence of videos, and we can also then use that as an opportunity to bring up discussion points that we may not have had a chance to get to yesterday because of the haste with which we moved through things. After lunch, then, we'll have a lessons learned session where there are numerous topics that we will not have yet really had a chance to get into in the other panel discussions, and we're going to get into it in those in that final panel discussion, some of the take-home messages as well as action items. And what we hope we'll be able to discuss in this panel discussion is, great, we've all learned a lot about the challenges and the potential actions that we can take to address those challenges on all sides. Whether it's for FDA in terms of revisions to our guidance and our recommendations, whether it is for industry in terms of action items for the way that methods are developed, whether it's for equipment manufacturers. We'll identify where are all the areas that improvements can be made, that action can be taken as a result of the things that we've learned and heard during the workshop. And then we'll close out the plenary session with the entire online and in-person audience by about 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and then go back into small group sessions where we can have, for those people on site here, to have a little bit more time with the equipment that the different manufacturers have brought on site. So with that, let me hand the podium off to Priyanka, who will lead us into our first session of the day.